Hey podcasters, Liz from Headliner here. So today I'm going to be walking you through how I go through and optimize all of our Headliner podcast and also how I actually optimize a lot of our YouTube video content, so kind of like the one that you're probably watching here. So first thing is first is I do use Headliner to actually optimize all of our content. So it's kind of a blend of using Headliner's tools and then also my own area of expertise. So I am the head of marketing, so I innately know a lot about different like marketing things. So whether that's kind of SEO or just different content optimization things. So I kind of, I do use a lot of Headliner's AI tools and then also kind of, again, my own like background knowledge and expertise to marry the two together to create the content that you see here. So the tools that I use. So I primarily am going to be showing you Eddie today, which is going to be our free transcript-based editor. It works really well with audio and video. So kind of regardless, specifically for podcast optimization, regardless of how you are creating your podcast, you are able to use these tools. And then again, as it does lend itself to working well with video, if you are a YouTube creator, then you can also use these same tools to create and optimize your different YouTube video upload content. So without further ado, let's kind of jump into it and see what's going on. So first things first is I do log into my Headliner account. I do so by visiting make.headliner.app, and then you will be seeing a screen that looks an awful lot like this one. So once you are in here, you're going to need to actually go into Eddie. So that is going to live within our little pink button here. So this transcribe, edit, and grow. And by clicking on that, you are automatically taken on over to Eddie. So again, Eddie, free transcript-based editor, super awesome tool. I'm a little bit biased, but it really is very easy to use. There's not a super huge learning curve, but we're going to walk through all of it. So you're going to walk away feeling confident and empowered and just, I know how to use this tool. So let's go ahead and get started. So there are two very important distinctions here within Eddie of how you would actually go about creating a project. So the first kind of option you see here on the left-hand side is going to be our automatic transcript generator. So here you are going to need to have an active RSS feed in order to start this process. So what it will do is it essentially goes through however you tell Eddie to create. So whether that's starting in season 3, or if you're starting from episode kind of 1, Eddie will create from the point in which you tell it to. So it will create and then it'll essentially catch up to where you are modern day, and then it will keep this transcript automation active and running in the future. So if you release 100 episodes from now, this transcript automation will still be running and you will get those transcripts for those projects. So that's a really awesome feature about Eddie. However, it does not work with video. So you are going to need to have a pure RSS base. So you are going to need to be rooted in your RSS feed in order to generate this, but that's not to say, a lot of podcasters kind of have that dual posting. So they will have the audio and then the video for YouTube. So you can still use all of the things that you get from your audio projects and just apply it to your YouTube page. So that's a really cool feature. And that's one you don't really have to think about it either. So super cool feature about Eddie. And then if you are a video creator, or if you just, want to create just a one-off project, this is typically how I run the Headliner podcast, because we do typically record in video and I receive a video and then I'll show you what happens. But I export the audio separately from this file to create our podcast and all of the wonderful things. So I'm going to show you that process because this is my process. These do work really well interchangeably, so I do want to call that out. But this one is a little bit more involved, so we'll also just go through that one. So I'm going to go ahead and click Get Started. And then in Eddie, you can see here that there's a bunch of different ways that you can upload things. So you can go ahead and search for your podcast. So again, if you have that RSS-based project, you can do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and search for that just so you can see it. So you see, this is a Headliner podcast, so I can pick from any point in our catalog and go ahead and create a transcription. If I do have a video recording, so whether that's going to be recorded and shared via the Zoom iCloud thing, or a Google Drive, or if I already have it and it's published on YouTube. So maybe you're a podcaster and you're going back through and you're like, oh, I would love to optimize some older uploads that maybe didn't perform as well, see if I can kind of give them a little bit of an algorithmic boost. I would really recommend doing the YouTube video share. So I'm actually going to pop over to YouTube and show you exactly how this works. So you can see here that I am on the Headliner YouTube page. I'm going to go to our lovely little podcast, go to our video podcast, and then I'll go ahead and pull move my head really quickly, go ahead and grab the share link, copy, move my head back, and go back into Eddie and drop it in there. And then I'll go through this kind of submittal process, and you can see here that Headliner is going through and it's pulling that video for me and it's porting it into Headliner. And super quick process right here. So you can see right off the bat, we're going to ask you, what language are you speaking? So Eddie does support over 100 different languages. So if you are not speaking and recording in US English, I would recommend clicking this little drop down and finding your language. Again, over 100 different languages are supported here, and we do have a few different versions of dialects. So I would recommend going through and finding your language, because we want to ensure that everything's accurate, right? So that is how you would actually go about changing that language. Super easy, straightforward process. Once you do have it, continue with the language. And then Headliner is going to go and ask you a few questions. So this is essentially how you want Eddie to work for you and how you want to use these tools. So you can see here that a lot of this is going to be AI powered. So this is, going to ensure that we can be consistent with all of these things. These is going to ensure that things are accurate, branded to your show, all of those things. So you can kind of see that there's a few different levers here. So I will walk through all of these super quickly. So the name of my project, Eddie is going to give you up to 5 different SEO relevant pre-optimized titles for you to pick and choose from. So really easy, especially if you are a creator and you are going to be using YouTube. You can do the different title testing. So you can test up to 3 different titles on your YouTube page. And you can kind of pick and choose, which ones you like the best or which ones are the most different, and just kind of, run some tests and see, hey, did any of these perform better than the other? So it's a really nice way that you can go back and either upload content in a new and different way, or you can go back and edit your old content and try and re-optimize things. So really awesome tool kind of at your disposal there. I would definitely recommend leaving it toggled on. Adding chapters to your project. If you are uploading to YouTube or if you're creating a project, you are probably going to want chapters. I would recommend leaving these on. Really easy, awesome. You can add chapters, you can take away chapters, you can rename them if you disagree with anything. But it's really awesome. And especially if you have that longer form content, it's going to allow you to kind of skip a lot of the editing things that you would do when you go back and figuring out, hey, where the heck should I have a chapter transition? So Eddie's going to automatically chunk that up for you, name it in a relevant way. Really awesome. I would recommend leaving it on. Filler words. This is a personal preference. You can see that I have mine turned off. Eddie is going to automatically scrub your transcript of all of those filler words. So those us, things that you might not want. I tend to leave mine in. It's just a personal preference thing. One really cool thing I do want to call out, anytime Eddie cleans it from the transcript, it's also going to clean it from the actual source file itself. The actual output file itself, not the source file, while you're editing. So if you're going to have audio or video, it's automatically going to take those out of the audio and video as well. So not just a transcript. So personal preference for you there. I typically just leave mine off. It's just my preference. And then personalizing to your podcast. So if you are creating for a podcast, would definitely recommend doing this. So similar that we showed in a previous step, it's the podcast search function. So you just type in your podcast name, discovery. Sure. Okay, there we go. And it's going to, you can kind of see that it automatically it informs the AI, that this is who you're creating for. So it's going to tell Eddie hey, try and mimic this style, this tone, try and, this formatting, all of these things. So Eddie's going to actually go through your RSS feed, during this upload process, look at everything and say, okay, this is typically how this person writes. So I'm going to do my best to emulate it. It does get better over time. So especially if you play with Eddie, you make those edits, you make those changes in your actual RSS feed uploads, it does, kind of work better for you over time. So I personally leave this on. It just kind of helps the AI do a better job in ensuring that everything is something that you actually want to use, which is really important. So once you have all of these, you're just going to go ahead and click continue with these settings. And Eddie is pretty quick. It does take about a third of the time of that length of your project. So if you enable some of those things off, it does speed it up, just because the AI has to do less thinking essentially. but you can kind of see like it's already the time that it took for me to yap, which I'm a yapper, so it probably got through this a little bit faster. But you don't have to wait here. It's going to kind of run in the background, do all of those things for you. And yeah, so you can kind of see here already, like you have that little processing guy right there, which is really awesome. So I actually already have one that's pre-done, same project. So I'll go through and kind of show you that one and how I used Eddie to optimize my podcast uploads. And again, this process, you can see that I kind of have some different, like, obviously not podcast things. I have some YouTube things here. So this process is going to be very similar if you are a YouTube creator and you're wanting to optimize your YouTube uploads. Just kind of pick and choose how you want to do it. But this is a podcast. So this is a Headliner podcast. So this is exactly what I did to optimize the upload. So again, this is going to be walking you through how I use Eddie. I use this for our podcast and all of our YouTube uploads. So first thing is first is I do kind of a quick scan of things. So, like I'll look for these dots and see like, okay, so it's a pause. In this case, it's music. So I go ahead and leave it. And I'll just kind of like scroll through like really quickly and just kind of make sure that things are, you know, about kind of what I want them to look like. And nothing is jumping out to me. I see that I did remove the filler words from here. So this is, I just use a transcript for this one. I didn't actually go ahead and edit. So I do historically, if I am just using this for a transcript, I will go ahead and remove the filler words. It just makes it a little bit cleaner, helps with, you know, just making sure that you're giving YouTube and all of the things, different clean things to parse. These are a few things that I typically do. So really quickly, so you can actually go and do these bulk edits. So you can search for a term and ensure, you know, if you want everything to be grammatically correct. So again, referring to headliner as a proper noun, you can do that. You can just go ahead and kind of, you know, it's like the Control F function. So you can go ahead and search for it and then type in what you want and then update all of them. Make sure that that little check is on, and that's going to go ahead and automatically ensure that everything is updated, which is a really awesome feature. And I love that, especially for if you're thinking about content optimization, you want to ensure that everything is spelled properly that you're trying to rank for. So if you have specific proper nouns or kind of misspelled common things, so like my name is Elissa, E-L-I-S-S-A, AI very rarely gets it correctly. I get a lot of Alyssa's, I get a lot of Alicia's, all of those things. But I want my name to be proper. I'm assuming that you do as well. So that's a really easy, awesome thing. And one thing about Headliner specifically is it does kind of notice those changes. So if you make this change like 2 or 3 times, it's going to recognize like, hey, this is how this person wants it spelled, or this is how they want it formatted. And it's actually going to learn and improve the transcript quality over time. So historically, Headliner, we like to say that our transcripts are 95% accurate first go around. You'll see that accuracy creep up over time. So a lot closer in that 99 percentile range of things, just because it's learning and it's working for you a little bit better. But that is normally all I do to the transcript. So nothing crazy. I'll just, you know, kind of make sure things look okay. My proper nouns are good and all of those things. So that's pretty much done. So what I do next, I go and I actually look at the podcast promo pack. So you can see here we have this little popper. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And this is the podcast promo pack. This is probably one of the coolest things about Eddie, in my opinion. If you're working with a podcast, we do have show notes kind of automatically pre-written for you. So you can go through, yeah, and you can see here that it's already pulled out all of the chapters for me. It's added the timestamps, all of those things. And yeah, you can see here, like every team has a rebuild year. Yeah, so I might go through and I might edit that individually. You can adjust this. So if you do have a Headliner Pro plan, we do have a couple of things so you can kind of, you know, shorten things, make it a little bit like more witty if you want, include the episode chapters, and go through and regenerate it. Headliner will go ahead and do all of those things for you. Just know that if you are trying to like regenerate your chapter titles in this stage, it won't do that because it is pulling informatively from here. So whatever you have as these chapters are the chapters that it's going to add regardless of how you're regenerating that transcript. So if you want anything changed, you're going to need to click on the actual individual chapter and change it yourselves. So just, you know, kind of some food for thought, heads up there. Okay, viewing the promo pack some more. So another really awesome thing about the promo pack, especially from a optimization kind of marketing forward thought, keywords, these are awesome. again, I can't say enough good things about having keywords and having tags in your content. So this is going to inform YouTube, inform search, inform all of the things. That these are roughly what your show's talking about. This is the direction it's going in. Specific queries are going to use these keywords. So we give you, I think, 20. I'm not going to count them, but I'm pretty sure it's 20 different keywords that you can kind of pick and choose from. You can copy this entire list and use them. You can adjust them, of course, so it is a little bit more of you kind of have to think and interact with the AI. So if you are a little bit more knowledgeable about your marketing strategy, or you already had kind of inherent thoughts about like what you wanted to rank for, you can have that full conversation with AI and just regenerate all of your keywords based off of that. But they are pretty good on first go around, I will say. It does pull from your actual transcript and then again your RSS. So it kind of looks for things that you've talked about in the past, as well as, you know, what is relevant to this specific transcript. So it's really awesome tool. I would definitely recommend you using keywords regardless of if you're uploading a podcast or if you're uploading YouTube content. Some more things. So we have our social copy. So if you're looking to promote things, you know, outside of YouTube, grab these. They're really awesome. You can, again, go through, you can adjust things. So that's a really cool feature. Quotes. I know quote cards are huge on social media, especially kind of those quote carousels. So this gives you a really good idea kind of what might be jumpy or might be attractive to pull those quotes from. So you can, you know, kind of search in the transcript. So it's okay. So like pod siesta. I doubt that we say that more than once, but who knows with us. Okay, so we have pod siesta here. So I went ahead and like quickly searched for that. And I can see, you know, like this is the quote that Eddie told me. So I can kind of see like, you know, go ahead and click on where it is in the transcript and grab the actual like timestamps for it. So just really easy way for me to kind of create those quote cards using Eddie as well. So I'll go back to the promo pack now. Other things, so newsletters are huge right now. I've been seeing a lot of that. So again, Headliner will go ahead and it'll kind of populate. So especially once you've gone through and uploaded that podcast to YouTube or your YouTube video to YouTube, a lot of times creators do have these newsletters. So this is going to allow you to really quickly kind of generate that. And again, you can interact with things. You can lengthen it, make it more tonally representative of something you would say. But really easy, awesome tool for creators. And this is probably, especially if you're doing a YouTube video, probably going to be one of the better things that I would say. So I actually use a blog post a lot of times for our YouTube descriptions. So they are, obviously this is a little bit long. So you can kind of, again, you can go and adjust things. You can shrink it down or whatnot. But I actually find that these are really helpful for YouTube descriptions for YouTube videos, as it does kind of capture a little bit more of the long form that you see a lot of times in the YouTube descriptions. So these are really good. I like them. I do typically edit them a little bit more kind of myself. Again, that is a little bit more my background. So I do feel like I know what I'm talking about. But the AI is really great at helping me at least get started and see, okay, what is the most attractive thing and what really lends itself well to represent the content. So this is a really awesome tool at your disposal. And then again, if you are creating a YouTube upload, not necessarily a podcast, you can, you know, kind of edit and marry these things, with the show notes, because we're going to have those chapters automatically pulled in for you. So you can just, you know, kind of have your little like YouTube tab and you can just like quickly go ahead and copy and paste things. And yeah, it's wonderful and awesome. Okay, so that is a podcast promo pack. So a lot of different really awesome tools at your disposal to optimize content, regardless if that's going to be a podcast or a YouTube upload. So earlier I had mentioned the title testing. This is how I go through and test titles. And then really quickly, I'll actually go ahead and show you what I mean. So in YouTube, you have your little like upload a video guy. Go ahead and select a file. Okay, so that is my video, and this might be aha. Okay, so here we go. This wasn't a terrible video, as it turns out. So with YouTube, you can do the title testing. So you see this little A/B title testing guy. You can go ahead and click that, and then you can paste into 3 different titles. So really easy. If you have thumbnails, you can also go ahead and do thumbnail and title testing at the same time. I personally like to do this, but if you're short on time, or if you just want to use these tools, title testing is a great tool for you. So, okay, back to Headliner and how that helps you do that. So you see here that we have the little title. Literally just click it, and then you can kind of get this little drop down guy and you can pick and choose from things. So I do like to remove this little episode guy. So it's fully editable, just like a Word doc. So you can just highlight and backspace things. And then you can just literally copy and paste this and put it into your title. So really easy, awesome way for you to test and optimize your content. Okay. I think I covered it all. Oh, no, I didn't. Obviously, this is a transcript-based editor. What is the really cool thing about a transcript-based editor? You get an accurate transcript. So transcripts are great. Transcripts are awesome. I can't say enough good things about transcripts. So if you are wanting to optimize your video and podcasting content, I would recommend adding a transcript. This is going to give you all sorts of wonderful things for you to index your content, help it rank a little bit better, just all of the wonderful, amazing things that we love to see. So YouTube, number of different ways you can do that. I tend to just do the VTT. It's pretty universally acceptable within my podcast host and then also YouTube. So I don't have to kind of have multiple formats. I can just have one thing on my device. So that's historically what I like to do. But yeah, that's a transcript. It's really awesome. Okay, so that is how I go through using Headliner to optimize all of my YouTube and podcasting uploads. Again, this is a really easy tool. I was talking for quite some time explaining some features, but you can imagine that this is a pretty quick process. So it generally takes me about 5 minutes or so to optimize each individual upload. So saves me an immense amount of time. So I hope it saves you time as well. So yeah, I hope this video was informative. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, suggestions, comments, or more questions, please let me know. I would love to hear them. I'm a resource for you. Would love to help you use Headliner to help grow your podcast and your YouTube channel. So drop them in the comments down below or email us directly by emailing us at support@headliner.app. One of our team members will get you in touch, and if you have questions about YouTube, they'll probably refer you to me. So you'll get to talk to me and hear me talk even more. So if that's something that's interested, please do so. As always, thank you so much for watching, and happy podcasting.